Okay, so veneer has been laid down. I've rounded off these corners with a little rasp. It's pretty subtle, the round over, but it's there, which is the important thing. Alright, centered my top buttons on my substrate. Now, loading this thing in. This is one of those times as a woodworker, having a third set of hands would be, or a third hand, or a second set of hands would be a huge help. Alright, so I'm in, which is great. I'm going to set up my hose. I'm also going to turn on the pump. Alright, so I've turned on the pump without sealing this thing up. I just want to start pulling out as much of that air, or getting a jump on that as quick as I can. Oops, sorry, camera. This could be an ongoing thing. In fact, it will be. Alright, hopefully that's better. Can you still see? Yes. I'm sure I will never edit that in post, but if I did, this would be a good time to do it. So you'll notice in this bag that I have a lot of empty space. I only have a narrow little plattons here, this white part that's above what it is I'm gluing up. I don't need to fill up the entire bag as I'm using it, and if I do not use up the whole bag, then I'm going to just focus on the area I need to, moving that closer to the hose to evacuate any of this air. I'm just starting to clamp this, working from one end down, getting out all the wrinkles. Not good. Okay. So just double checking my alignment. Feels pretty great. There's not a whole lot more for me to do except for just wait and take this thing out. So while the air is being pulled out of this, talk about some strategies. So because I'm using a water-based glue, it's not going to take long for this thing to dry. I would say about a half an hour. I know some of the glue manufacturers recommend 45 minutes to an hour and a half, which doesn't tell me a lot because that's all over the place. A lot of that has to do with the temperature, and so if I have a nice warm environment where I'm gluing up, half an hour, 45 minutes is plenty. If it was slightly cooler, like 60 degrees or less, then that would be more of a problem where I would need to leave this in the bag longer. Some people outsmart the rest of the temperature in the shop by putting down an electric blanket and just kind of adding some temperature into this conversation. You can also do that with epoxy as well as urea resin glue, and those will expedite the curing. I just don't like mixing with the ratio of the cure time for epoxy. What I do when I'm gluing up is, if I'm using urea resin or an epoxy, I'll put some into a plastic bag, keep it out next to the bag, not touching the bag, but next to the bag, and when that other bag is cured and it's hard to the touch, then I know this is done as well. I can't just leave it in a cup because it will have opportunity to be exposed to more of the off-gassing. Whereas in this environment, it's kind of in this vacuum structure. The vacuum is going to stop once I've hit my pressure, and so the plastic bag is a good ratio for checking, or a good litmus test for gauging where I'm at. So I've got good pressure here. You can see this is starting to take shape. None of these edges or these corners are starting to compromise, and hopefully you can see where the rubber corners are on the far ends. This is exactly what I'm trying to avoid, is any of those sharp points digging up my bag, which is not great. I've had to patch a couple of times, which happens. It's just one of those things I really prefer not to do. Alright, that's it. Another half an hour or 45 minutes, I'll be back and take this out.